Okay, so let's go ahead and we have started. Yeah. So AWS VPC, Virtual Private Cloud, and as you know, your project is also updated there, uploaded there, uh, and if you have issues with access, actually I gave access, so you should not have. The only thing I would request is when do it in one session, your project, do it in one session, and do not leave your machines, right? So that would be very then difficult for others to start as well, and it's well, everything is being audited, so whichever account has left whatever machines. So just try to put in one session and try to finish your project in one session. If you have to leave, then you have to delete the machines. Um, okay, and it's the lab that you've done already, but the naming convention has to be followed. So, uh, so one student, did all the project-related lab, and she said that she used my name in all the machines. Wherever the naming convention was, she just used my name. So uh, that was strange. So wherever my name is written in the project document, please change it to your name. I think that was understood, and I think I mentioned it in the rules as well. And that's how it has been going on since forever. That wherever my name is, it's understood that it will be your name. So if anyone's document or project has virtual machines created, or the project screenshots created with my name there, obviously you will lose marks for those. It has to be your name, not my name. Uh, but we've been doing those labs since the start of the course, and finding it out that somebody still used my name I was just blown away. Uh, okay, anyway, well, it was the other section actually. They didn't know, maybe some of them. Okay, so let's get going with our overview of the VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. That's networking side of the AWS, and Microsoft Azure has that networking side as well. Whoever wants to do Azure course, obviously I always say that just you can ask, and I'll give you access to the videos, and especially the exam material, certification material for Microsoft Azure. Azure certifications you must do before you hit the market with searching for jobs. Azure is a must-do thing. So anyway, but do you need any material for Google Cloud, Azure, pretty much any certification, let me know. Okay, so let's go ahead and what's AWS VPC? This VPC is Virtual Private Cloud. What is that? Amazon Virtual Private Cloud is like your local, your private network. Suppose you are taken to an office, new office, and you're asked that, okay, can you create a LAN for me? Which means that I have 25 machines here, and can you just connect them together? And it will be understood that you would use private IPs there. It's a private LAN. You have one domain controller, you have file servers, you have web server, you have some machines there. That's all. You connect them together with a private IP, and that's your private LAN that you create. And they're sharing files and folders. Okay. So Paul says, how are we supposed to do our cloud hands-on project on AWS when we cannot procure AWS resources outside cloud time? We cannot. I have given permissions, and if you don't have access, just let me know, and I will make sure that you have access. Obviously, you can't do a project if you don't have access. So just ask, and I think I have given to everyone. If you don't have it, just mention, just ask me, and I'll double check that. If you don't have it, I'll just give it. So let me check the group again. So guys, just communicate and just let me know. If you don't have access, I'll give you, obviously. Yes, you have EC2 full access. I am full access. Elastic Forensic full access. S3 full access. And if you still don't have that access, just let me know. Okay, so let's go ahead and so when I uploaded the project at that time, I just gave those accesses. Obviously, you need them. Okay, now what we were talking about, that virtual private cloud. So how about you create your private network on public cloud? And how many you can create? Why would you want to create a private network on public cloud? So obviously you want to do testing. You want to do, so suppose we go ahead and talk about it with diagram here. So suppose that's your cloud, and that's AWS, and you are, so there's a VPC inside which you are working right now, that is called VPC. You're able to create virtual machines, you're able to create S3 buckets, you're able to create users. So whatever you're doing it in your default VPC. And okay, we're talking about VPC, virtual private cloud. Okay, so you're doing it in default VPC, and that's the VPC or virtual private cloud that you get, where you can create whatever you want. Create VMs, buckets, users, groups, networks, databases, and etc. etc. Right? So the default VPC we've been working till now. But how about we need to create our own network with our own, the traffic flow, our own custom configurations. So how about that? So we need to create our own VPC. So, well, you can create, okay, that was the first point here. Yeah. So we can create 5 non-default VPCs. So that would be 5 non-default VPCs. We can create 200 subnets per non-default VPC. 200 subnets. Oh, well, so this means that you can create a large environment, 200 different custom subnets inside your VPC. That's cool, right? So what's the need for that? So first of all, 5 non-default VPCs per subscription per region. So in one region with your subscription, so in East US 1, which is North Virginia region, you can create 5 non-default VPCs which can have 200 subnets, and each subnet can have as many machines as you want, as many virtual machines as you want, right? So in West US 1 and West US 2, like California region or Ohio region in East US 2, so you can create 5. In West you can create 5. With your subscription per region you can create 5 non-default VPCs. So default VPC we're working inside already. We log into our default VPC. Non-defaults are the ones that we can create ourselves. And why would you want to do that? Obviously you would want to create a lot of environments there. Suppose you want to go for so suppose that's the non-default VPC that you are creating. Non-default VPC, and you want to give a range to that, so 10.0.0.0/16. Like you give a bigger range because maybe you want to have more subnets there. So there's the non-default subnet 1, and suppose you want to go for non-default subnet 2 and non-default subnet 3, right? Oh, did I say non-default subnet as well? So yeah, they're just subnets. You don't say, terminology wise, you don't say non-default subnets, but you're just saying non-default VPC, that's enough. So subnet 1 you can create, and that could be suppose you want to go 10.0.0.0/24. so you create a subnet, right? And you have to give a range, some kind of range there, and then you go for another subnet. So you just simply change the 10.0.1.0, and you create a third subnet. Suppose you can create up to 200 subnets, right? So you go for 2.0 dot, so 00/24, 010/24, 020/24, and so on. Why would you want to create even 3? What's the purpose? Well, you can just put the first one as the public subnet, and this public subnet is accepting traffic from internet, right? And you actually put a jump machine here, jump PC, jump box. You must have heard the term, some of you may have heard the term before, that you create a VM here, virtual machine, that is a jump machine. So what does the jump machine do? Jump machine is that you want to go to the virtual machines in other subnets. So you first have to go to the jump PC or jump box here, and then from within that you can open a RDP connection, and then you can go inside second subnet. Suppose this virtual machine is shut down, so now you have no way to go to the other subnet. Why you have no way to go to the other subnet? Because the first subnet is public subnet. This means that from internet you can connect to the first subnet, but other subnets you can create as private subnets, which means only private IPs, which private IPs are not routable over the internet. So there's no way that to the private subnet you can connect from over the internet. You have to connect to some kind of subnet and a virtual machine that has a public IP, and from that you can connect to other subnets if that subnet has communication with that other subnet. So obviously it will have. So you create, suppose, 2 private subnets. What are those private subnets for? Well, backend machines. So there's a front end server and there's a backend server that you can create there. So suppose these are the application or web servers, and these are the databases in the background, right? So what happens is that you connect from over the internet to the non-default VPC, and then to the public subnet, and to the jump box or the jump PC, jump virtual machine. And how do you connect? You connect through RDP, right? And once you reach here, you again go to any of the virtual machines in the private subnet through, obviously, the RDP connection again. RDP. So, and from there, this private subnet we can just configure it to accept traffic only from the public subnet, while the public subnet accepts traffic from 000/0, which is internet. So it's accept traffic from internet, and right, it accepts traffic from internet, while the other subnets only accept traffic from the public subnet. And the same goes for then, okay, so this private subnet, you can just configure it that it only accepts traffic from this private subnet, or this private subnet also accepts traffic from the public subnet. So it's up to you how you configure. And how can you configure that traffic flow? Obviously, with any network, you enable routing, right? Routing is that this network can be routed to send traffic to that other specific network. So normally, when the subnets are created, suppose we create two subnets, and we will be creating actually two subnets. So what happens is the RT, route table, gets created automatically by AWS, by VPC. So when you create two subnets within a non-default VPC, they are both already accepting traffic from each other. So the route table is already connecting the two subnets. Suppose you create 20 subnets. So by default, their VPC just connects them automatically. Unless you don't want that, you can just remove that connection, you can just remove that route table. But route tables are automatically connecting every subnet to every other subnet unless you remove that. So by default, the route tables are there within subnet. When we create a route non-default VPC, we will be creating two subnets, and they will be accepting traffic from each other automatically. So there's a route table that will be created there, and suppose you need to just understand the traffic flow, right? So traffic comes from over the internet, suppose from different branches or from different clients. They connect to Jump PC. On the Jump PC, you have all the security software like antivirus, anti-malware, and intrusion IDPs, so intrusion detection, IDS systems, and IPS, intrusion prevention systems, or any kind of other security, and it's just end-to-end encrypted. So all kinds of security software you put on the Jump PC, and from there, whoever's allowed. Obviously, there will be authentication and authorization. Other than this, who is authenticated first and who is authorized to connect to this app with username, passwords, and obviously multi-factor authentication. So there's a long list of security you can put there. MFA you can put there. So you're allowing traffic to the Jump PC, and from here, whoever has access to the apps can connect there, and then those apps, whatever data they're creating, is being automatically saved into the databases. So overall, this is how you can use the non-default VPC, the three subnets. We're going to create two actually, three subnets, or 30 subnets, or 90, 100 subnets. So it's up to you how you want to create. Maybe this subnet is there's another subnet you create, and that's just for test, right? There's another subnet you create, those just have file servers. So it's up to you how you want to create a traffic flow. This private subnet can only accept traffic from another private subnet, but not from public. So it's up to you again how you want to go with that. So overall, what we understand here is that AWS offers VPC, which is virtual private cloud, which is just your private IP based LAN, where you can create your own network, you can create your own network flow, and just like in your production environments, and you have your data centers there, and data centers have their own subnets in your companies, and you divide the traffic with VLANs. So you can just divide the traffic here with route tables, and traffic flow can be very well and ACLs, access control list, who has access to which private subnet. And then obviously the security groups will play a very big role here when you are creating those subnets. So SGs, security groups, that from where to where you're accepting the traffic, from which IP you're accepting the traffic, and what kind of traffic are you accepting, like HTTP traffic, HTTPS traffic. So SG plays a very, very good role between the virtual machines ultimately are receiving the traffic. So obviously they will then SG will control that what kind of traffic, from which IP the virtual machines are accepting traffic from. So that's all the network components that we're going to be exploring there. And this is just an explanation of what we can do, why VPC is so important to understand, and we just have full freedom to create our private networks within public cloud and divide them among different subnets, configure the traffic flow, and create test networks. So there can be dev, there could be UAT, and then there could be production VPCs or subnets. So you can just simply create a full data center here with all kinds of and not only that, you can create your own virtual machines here. You can connect it to S3 service. You can connect it your own created non-default VPC and its subnets. You can connect them to any of the 200 plus services of AWS. You want to connect them to S3 bucket, you want to connect them to load balancer, you want to connect them to IAM, so you name it, and you can just connect your created customized network to any of the services of AWS or to your local branches. Suppose there is a private network, private subnet that you just created, and in fact you went for another non-default VPC, right? So okay, this VPC is accepting traffic from internet, right? So you had to create a public subnet here. But what about that you create another VPC, non-default VPC. So whenever we create, the terminology is non-default VPC, right? So non-default VPC, and when you're creating that non-default VPC, so you don't want it to be accessible over the internet, but you still want to connect from a local branch machines. So someone from outside has to connect to it, while it will not be offering public IPs. It will not be accepting public IPs at all, like if that's a situation. So you create a non-default VPC, you create a private subnet inside. Now that's just a private subnet. You don't have any public subnet, right? Private subnet only. So how is it possible to connect from outside to a private subnet /24, and you have virtual machines inside which have just private IPs, right? No public IP. So in order to connect to these machines, the only other way is VPN. So suppose you have here our Toronto branch, and that Toronto branch, you need to connect the data center of the Toronto branch to the non-default VPC that you created, and maybe 20 subnets you created. You have 10,000 virtual machines among 20 subnets there, and or 100 virtual machines you have there. So you want to connect them. So then you can also go for obviously you need to create a dedicated subnet that offers VPN. So you will configure VPN services here, VPN service, and through that you can only connect with private connection, right? So with VPN you can connect, no need to have public IPs anywhere. So only private IP connection if you want, then you can configure. VPN service, and so no connection from internet at all. So this branch connecting, or whoever has access to VPN can connect to this. And VPN is pretty secure. You may have heard that already. It has IPsec, IP security. That is a very thorough security protocol against any hacker attacks. It has good protection. So, and then with IPv6, obviously private IPv6, you can also make it even more stronger. So we're going to go for the example where we're going to be creating one non-default VPC. We're going to be creating two subnets, one public subnet, one private subnet. We're going to be connecting over the internet to the public subnet, then we're going to through RDP, and then we're going to jump from this virtual machine to this virtual machine and connect to the other private subnet. If we are able to connect to the private subnet, so this means that our whole network is good, routing is good, SG or security groups are good, and if we are not able to connect from our machines to the public subnets, public virtual machine, and then from there we cannot RDP to the private, then obviously there's some mistake there. Now this is, you guys are smart, I know, but this lab may be a bit complicated, so whoever is stuck, you can just show the error in the screenshot, and then if you want to follow later, you can, but obviously it's a critical skill, and we're recording, so you can just repeat it as many times later as well. So we're going to check all the networking, majority of the networking components and topics with the help of VPC lab here. And so in AWS it is called VPC. In Azure, Microsoft Azure, it is called VNet. Here VPC is VNet in Azure or Microsoft. And pretty much you can exactly do the same lab the same way in Azure as well, the concept wise. Obviously its ways are different to create a VNet there, but you can just create the two subnets there as well, or you want to see that video which I did somewhere else, I'll just share it with you, how to create do the same thing in Azure VNet. Okay, so we talked about VPC here. I'll just go ahead and go to the overview. The quick start provides a networking foundation for AWS cloud infrastructures. It deploys an Amazon virtual private cloud, Amazon VPC according to AWS best practices and guidelines. Amazon VPC is the networking layer for Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, or EC2, which is simply virtual machines. So it's a networking layer for virtual machines and provides a private, isolated section of the AWS cloud where you can launch AWS services and other resources in a virtual network. So that's what we have been talking about. We are creating our own virtual private network. And the Amazon VPC architecture includes public and private subnets. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create one public subnet and one private subnet. The first set of private subnets share the default network access control list from the Amazon VPC. So access control list is who has access to what resources in VPC. And the second optional set of private subnets includes dedicated custom network ACLs per subnet. So you can have a general list of ACLs, and you can have more customized ACLs as well, that which resource, who accesses at what time. The quick start divides the Amazon VPC address space in a predictable manner across multiple availability zones and deploys either NAT instances or NAT gateways for outbound internet access, depending on the AWS region. So they do talk about NAT as well. What is NAT going to do here? Network address translation provides you internet connection, right? With one public IP translating to thousands of private IPs. You're just getting internet through NAT protocol, right? What's the use of NAT here? So if you are creating a non-default VPC where it's totally private IP based network, no public IP at all. Suppose you have multiple networks here, or even in that diagram where you were receiving traffic from internet, and behind you have private networks here, right? So those private networks, private subnets, those private subnets um, will can have internet connection, right? So since they're private, so they cannot have internet connection unless you provide you just provide NAT protocol, right, to these subnets here. If you provide NAT to this private subnet, only then the machines can have internet connection. Otherwise, obviously, if they get only private IP and they have no way of connecting to internet directly, so they will not have internet connection service as well. So you can also provide NAT to any of the private subnets where you need internet connection. If they don't need internet connection, just private IP based communication between the virtual machines, then you don't need to provide NAT here. But you can provide, that's what they're saying in that. Okay, so if we go to, so when they're talking about quick start, I'll show you. They have templates of VPC, and then we can actually create custom VPCs. We're gonna go for custom step-by-step creation of VPC. That's the way we can learn better. So then there's cost. You are responsible for the cost of the AWS services used while running this quick start reference deployment. There is no additional cost for using the quick start. Now there is another service called AWS CloudFormation. CloudFormation is that you can automate the creation of the whole cloud infrastructure. Suppose you want to create one VPC, 2 subnets, and 20 virtual machines in each subnet. So you can, through CloudFormation, you can automate that. You can create a script, and it's visual, actually visual. You don't need to have coding experience for that. It's a visual editor or there that lets you simply select the resources. Oh, I want 200 machines, 1 VPC, 2 subnets. Click, 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 and it will create a code in the background. And that code, when you run, simply creates 1 VPC, 2 subnets, 200 virtual machines, or 20 virtual machines, each subnet, and 1 virtual machine database, 1 this, 1 that. You can even select that. It can go as complicated as you want. So CloudFormation is a very, very interesting service for automation. So the AWS CloudFormation template for this quick start includes configuration parameters that you can customize. Some of the settings, such as the instance type, number of availability zones, use of NAT gateways or NAT instances, depending on the AWS region you choose. So, well, it's just saying that if you want to create that, and obviously the cost is actually your responsibility. So if I just put that AWS and VPC on the top here, and AWS is really good in their documentation. VMware is also very good in their documentation. So, well, that's the proper intro here, and I'll just put that first page so you could refer to that for the whole documentation. If you're preparing for the certification as well later, obviously this AWS certification is very tough in terms of that they keep changing their questions, right? So, and Microsoft Azure certifications are not that tough. Obviously you need to understand for the job and do all the labs for the job, but giving just a certification is, they don't, change their questions so frequently. Anyway, so what I was trying to go for, okay, so that keeps going. Oh man, where did I actually create that? Oh yeah. Well, so Amazon VPC is a service that lets you launch AWS resources in a logically isolated virtual network that you define. So we're going to define a virtual network now, and we're going to, very carefully assign all the resources. You have complete control over your virtual network environment, including selection of your own IP address range, creation of subnets, configuration of route tables, and network gateways. you can use both IPv4 v6 here and helping to ensure security, right? So so this is the foundation service, and you can create subnets there. So I'm just gonna put that here. Okay. And there are some benefits there as well. Secure and monitored network connections, and simple setup and use. You're going to see simple, but I think it's that simple. Customizable virtual network. If you're doing it carefully, obviously it's going to be simple. And use cases are this: host a simple public-facing website, host multi-tier web applications, backup and recover your data after a disaster. So these are some of the reasons that you would create a VPC. And it goes on, extend your corporate network into the cloud, securely connect cloud applications to your data center. Some of the benefits here they are saying. And then what big partners are there? Palo Alto is a partner for VPC, Fortinet is, Checkpoint is, Barracuda, Sophos, and it goes on. These are the big names which are using AWS, and these are some of the big names. The list is very, very long with all Fortune 500 companies, the biggest companies on planet Earth. They're all using AWS as well as Azure in most cases. So this is overview, and then comes the features here on this page, the link I've already given, and it just shows reachability analyzer, VPC flow logs, VPC traffic mirroring, ingress routing, security groups, network access control list. So these are some of the features they are talking about. Then they also use other AWS resources with Amazon VPC, AWS Transit Gateway, Private Link, firewall, VPN, NAT. You can use all that. We're going to be talking about that, but this is the details for the features. Normally these are the major ones, so I'll just put here. Okay, so let's get started, guys, and I'm just gonna log in from the management console here, and well, I was already logged in here. Really, while it opens up. Okay, I'm already actually here. So this is the Tuesday group. Okay, guys, so I don't see here VPC full access, so this means that when I give the access, you need to sign out, sign in, otherwise you will not be able to do the lab. So don't sign out now. When I say then sign out and just sign in, right? So I'm just gonna click attach policy now and go for VPNC. So that's the Amazon VPC full access, and attach policy. Okay, guys, so now you can sign out, sign in. So I'll just put here, please sign out, sign in now. Oh, yeah. Hopefully you're signed out, sign in. Okay. So once you've signed out and signed in, okay, let's go ahead. So I'll since you're logged in, and I'm just gonna go to my favorite page first, and that is on the top right, and it goes to my billing dashboard, and it opens today. Wow, no kidding, really. If it's opening after this much time, that's not a very good sign from Bell for Scarborough. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead, guys. I'm gonna go to the services. We all know the services on the top left here, and once you go ahead and click the services, then there is a category here down, and that is VPC. Under the networking and content delivery category, there is VPC. Or you can type in search VPC. So that is VPC in search, and Monday or something. Okay, so there you go. VPC is showing here. So you can just click from here, or just go to services and go down. So from top here, compute, storage, database, and then there's a VPC, network and content delivery. So let's click this VPC here. So once you click the VPC here, now you're inside. Oh my god, really? Okay. I'm just prolonging my Ethernet cable to keep Wi-Fi really is not very good. Okay guys, so you would see this interface, VPC, right? And launch VPC wizard, and launch EC2 instances, and there's loads of features here as well. So that would be our first screenshot, where your name at the top right is showing name and ID, and you're inside the VPC dashboard, and the screenshot name would be VPC dashboard. Screenshot name is VPC dashboard. Screenshot name VPC dashboard, obviously not Virginia. Okay. Screenshot 1 VPC dashboard. Okay, so that's VPC dashboard, and let's go ahead. Now what's the plan? So we may have talked about the plan already, but oh, that might be eating my internet. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now I'll just give a quick plan. In fact, I'm going to draw a diagram as we go ahead. So the first thing we're doing is that we're creating VPC, default non-default VPC, and we're creating two subnets here. I'll drag it on this side, and so it will be your first name VPC, and we're gonna create that. I'm just writing it here, /16, and so we need to reach till here, and two subnets. We're about to create two subnets. So your first name dash public dash subnet, which would be 10.0.0.0/24, and the other one would be your first name private subnet, and it would be 10.0.10/24, right? So we need to reach till here. Also, this one accepts public accepts public IP. And this one accepts private IP. Okay, so we need to reach till here. Okay, now let's go back, or I will go back here. So once we're here, now there's your VPCs. So let's go to the your VPC on the left side here under the virtual private cloud. Let's click the your VPCs here. Once you click the your VPCs here, now oh, really? Everyone's getting this, or just me? Okay, so you see here this, right? And that is VPC dash 420. So guys, this is the default VPC, and I guess everyone's just seeing one default VPC. Hopefully you are seeing the exact number here. Maybe what you're seeing as the number is exactly as my number, 420FD338. Is it the same number for everyone, or do you see a different number here? Same. Okay, good. So thank you for confirming. So guys, you're not going to do anything. I am going to click here, and I'm going to type here do not delete. This is default VPC. Now that is something strange that AWS has done. Microsoft Azure does not let you delete your VNet, but AWS lets you delete your default VPC. So this is something that we're not supposed to touch. Guys, if you can refresh, can you see what I just the name that I gave here? When you refresh, do you see that name there, or on your side the name, it's still nameless? Okay, thank you everyone for confirming. So you see that name that I just gave here, do not delete. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Arjun. So that's very good. Now we're not touching it. Why? We are working inside this right now. Every one of us is inside this one VPC provided by AWS. And yes, if you select that and you click delete, it's gonna get deleted. And this is like we are having a bulldozer, and that bulldozer is about to bulldoze a building, and we're inside the room of that building, and we have the control of the bulldozer, and we're just pressing the button, and the bulldozer is hitting on the building, and we're inside that. So obviously we won't be able to go inside if we deleted this one. Obviously there's very good auditing services there, so we will know at once very clearly who did it, because the AWS technical support will be able to tell us. So do not delete means do not click this option. So that's something AWS did and we are stuck with it. Anyway, that's the first thing, that we're not supposed to touch this, right? And second thing is, you see that on the top right, create VPC. So okay, before that, screenshot number 2, do not delete default VPC, and your name should be showing on the top right. Screenshot 2 is, do not delete your default VPC. So this whole page, screenshot 2, this one, screenshot 2, and hopefully you're all in North Virginia. So do not delete default VPC, screenshot 2 with your name there, and its name is do not delete default VPC. So that's screenshot 2. I'll just quickly go there. Okay. Screenshot 2, do not delete default VPC. Right? Screenshot 2, do not delete default VPC. Okay, so we're good. Let's go ahead. Now, our plan, as per the diagram, let's reach here, create one non-default VPC, create 2 subnets. And I'll be explaining things that I have not mentioned in my introduction to the VPC, but obviously you will understand before you do it. So for now, let's go to create VPC. So I'm going to click create VPC now. So once we click create VPC, so it takes us here. Now we're creating a non-default VPC, or our own customized company local LAN or local area network with private IPs here, right? So let's go for your first name dash VPC, or we can say non dash default dash VPC. Your first name non-default VPC. Your first name non-default VPC, and you need to give a range here. That's all it asks. 10.0.0. Guys, okay. If we have if you're seeing the same account, then if I use 10.0.0.0, are you able to use 10.0.0.0 from your accounts? We're about to find that out. Otherwise, then I will have to assign you all, from the top to bottom, 10.0.10/16, 10.0.20/16, 10.0.30/16, 10.0.40/16. So and that would be quick. I'll just grab your names, and then you can just assign. We have to just be very careful what you do. So 10.0.0/16, right? Let's go for this. It's not a long wizard. It just asks that what IP range you want, and tenancy. So IPv6 are you using? No, we're not using IPv6, right? And if you have given that 10.0.0/16, everyone has given that. So then there's tenancy here, default or dedicated. Default is that underlying hardware will be shared with other companies, other subscriptions as well. If it's dedicated, so underlying hardware, networking hardware will be just dedicated for you for better performance and for compliance reasons, right? So 10.0.0/16, and then there's tags here, so yeah, you can give any tag here. Now what we're going to do is, well, since we've all put this, and the IP is exactly the same, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click create VPC. Obviously you're going to create VPC as well, and then let's see if there's any issue. I just click the create. Go ahead and create the VPC. Do you get any error, or you don't, or it gets created just like mine did? Nirvana says no. Keith says error. There was an error creating your VPC. The maximum number of VPCs has been reached. Oh, okay. Harshan says no issue. I think the issue, Hamid, that you've shown here is that we all did it at the same time. So AWS got overwhelmed with that. So those who got the error can try it after what, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, or maybe 40 seconds. So it's just that the throttling has been reached. Okay, so Paul has shown there was an error reaching. Yeah, that's what others are also showing. So guys, it's like we all did that at the same time, so that's why just try it again after what, 20 seconds or 30 seconds, and you should be good. This happened to us in our previous some of the labs as well, and those who got this maximum number reached error, can you try now or after 10 or 20 seconds further, and does it work for you or not? Those who got the error, obviously those who got it already the first attempt. Okay, Jacob says still getting. Okay, Amir says not again. This not again means you did not get the error again, or oh, not again, it came, oh, not working. Okay, so Keith says me too, error again. Okay, I think everyone is retrying at the same time as well. How can we distribute it? Any one of you who could wait 1 minute? It's 7:02 now. How about 7:04? 2 minutes. While we discuss only options here, and then try. Anyone who got the error and was able to actually, in the second try, was able to actually get it created. Anyone who was actually able to do that? Is there anyone who was able to do that? Or those who got the error are still getting errors? Brady says I got error. Yeah, maximum at the same time should go away, and we can give it a little time here as well. Thomas says still getting there after 1 minute. Okay, so guys, many of us got it correctly here, got it created, and some are having issues, right? So those who are having issues, you can just take a screenshot of your error and put it in the document as well. And for marks, don't worry. If you got an error and you showed the error, then don't worry. But for learning, obviously I'm recording, so you can do it any other time as well. I'll keep giving you access so you can practice it as well. But we can just go ahead, and you can try after 1 or 2 minutes while we're going ahead. And if you're able to do that and catch up as well, it's okay. Otherwise, if you were not able to catch up because of this, so at least just take a screenshot of this and upload it in the document, and don't worry, right? So I need to still show the whole lab, but if you're not able to see this, you go ahead. So don't worry about the marks. About the learning, it's recording, so you can do it any other time as well. But try to understand what's going on, and if you understand the concepts and how to do it, it's already recorded, so you can do it anytime later as well. Okay, so Guys, if you've taken the screenshot of your error, that's good enough for now. As I was saying that before as well, if you're stuck somewhere during the lab, just make sure that you got the screenshot of that error, right? So then don't worry about the marks. But we have to go ahead. So runs on doing the rest of the lab. Dylan says, well, if you're not able to do the rest of the lab, so there are two choices there. One is that if you want to do it during the week, yes, you will be given that chance. If you want to just upload with this, you can upload with this as well. And so there's another other type of fail to load rule groups. Version is not authorized to. I'm just seeing another type of error here as well. I'm showing here. Now AWS has provided us this. I mean, I wish I had created this AWS myself, so I could just remove all this. But what I get is what I'm trying to work on. Resolver DNS firewall rule groups. Okay, so that's Route 53. So anyone who I'm asking if this will prevent us from continuing. Then, if you're not able to create a VPC, yes, it will prevent you from continuing. And then I already mentioned the options that you can do it throughout the week, or you can just upload this error, and I'll just accept it. How about the project? Don't tell we have to create VPC. Well, Khalid, you got the project already, right? It's there already and that's not about VPC. So if it's about VPC, yeah, but it's not about VPC, right? Okay, so that project is inside your default VPC, so don't worry where, don't take too much stress. Wherever there is issues overall, obviously I'm not going to force that on you. So, and wherever you see any issues, just let me know. Okay, so let's try to go ahead. Otherwise, just like in I have to still show the whole thing, so you could at least understand the whole concept. Wherever you're stuck, obviously don't worry about the marks. If you just prove, but let me go ahead now, and I will show. Whoever can go ahead, please do. Others, don't worry, it's not in your control. That's what AWS provided us. Okay guys, so once that VPC is created, your VPC, I'm just going to click that, your VPC here. And yeah, I see 4 only who were able to actually create that, and the rest were not, which is... Guys, those who were not able to create, can you try again with a totally different IP, like 10.0.10/16, 10.0.20/16, 10.0.3, 10.0.4, 10.0.5. Just something. Maybe they are saying that maximum reach with 10.0.0.0, right? So if okay, so Eric, you changed the IP there, 10.0.10/16 as well. Okay, so thanks for testing that. Same, not even 10.20.0.0. Oh, so it's not the IP then. Okay, it's just the overall what they're allowing there for VPC creation. So for virtual machine, it was not like that. For any other, we all did the same, but for VPC, they have limitations, AWS. Now, obviously, I will totally understand that. I'm not pushing anything. I'm not forcing anything. So if you're not able to do that, it's not in your control. So if you're worried about the marks, then don't worry about the marks. Yes, about the learning, I'll give the access later throughout the week if you want to do VPC lab. Guys, try to understand. And now when I ask for screenshot, those who got there, just take a screenshot of my screen. Those who got there, take a screenshot of my screen. So we need to carry on because you need to really learn this critical feature called VPC. So try to understand now and take a screenshot of my screen, right? I have my own AWS account. Wow. Well, yeah, you can use it if you want. This is a critical feature for the job. Okay. Oh, for the project? Well, you need to keep your name there, college name and ID. Right? You just need for the project, if you want to use your AWS account, put the naming convention the same as it is here. Right? Okay. So guys, let me go ahead. Now, what's the plan here? Let me just show you the diagram here. The plan is this. Two subnets. We need to create two subnets. One accepts public IPs. Second accepts private IPs only. So I'm gonna try to create the two subnets here, but and for that I'm gonna go inside my default VPC. I'm just gonna still refresh that because you guys are good troubleshooters. If AWS is really allowing you to troubleshoot. Otherwise, if they have put a limitation, it's out of our. If it's out of the whole college or maybe 100 colleges control. Nobody can control that, what AWS didn't give. Okay, so I'm gonna go inside this subnet. I'm just gonna click that, your first name, non-default VPC. In fact, if I select that VPC here, I'm gonna go to actions, and there's edit CIDRs. So classless interdomain routing. This is your 10.0.0.1 kind of, right? Edit DHCP option set, edit DNS host name. So you got DHCP services in your non-default VPC, and you got DNS services in your non-default VPC. So that's pretty much what it's saying, and you can delete the whole VPC as well, right? Okay, now that's one thing about what you can do with your non-default VPC. Second thing is I'm going to go down under the your VPCs to the subnets, right? I'm going to click that, the subnets here. And once we click the subnet, you can see there are 6 subnets already created there, and those are not our subnets because the subnets also show do not delete, do not delete. Remember that we put that do not delete for the default VPC, right? So these are the 6 subnets, which are actually 6 availability zones. These are the 6 availability zones. North Virginia has 6 availability zones, right? It's the biggest, right? One of the biggest. There may be other regions who have 6 availability zones, so these are 6 availability zones that are showing here. Obviously, it says do not delete. We do not touch them. This is where we are working. So this is our play area where we're working, right? So obviously in the job environment you will need to know all this. Just try to understand, and I'm going to go ahead and click the create subnet now. So I'm going to click the create subnet now. I will select the VPC that I created, and I will go for my name, paste VPC. And once I select the VPC, I'm creating a subnet inside this VPC, obviously. So the IP range is 10.0.0/16. I'm going to go down here to give the subnet name as well. So first subnet is, according to the diagram, your first name public subnet. Alt tab, your first name dash public subnet. And availability zone. So there you can select any availability zone. If you don't select any, it will select for you. We know that already from S3 and from EC2 discussions. So I'm going to go just for organization purpose 1A. There is no specific reason other than that for organization purpose. Okay, Amir says, can we use someone in VPC to create subnet? Yeah, but how would you take screenshots? Well, if it's doable, yes, go ahead. Try to compile all my questions. Okay, so let's go ahead. How about the default one? Oh, default one. Hey, well, I don't think you can create in default one, can you? If you go to the default one and select it, oh, see this? If I go up there, I can choose the default one, but then that's going to really ruin the environment for all of us. So you can use somebody else's, and but default one is that's our environment as a whole, right? So that's the one that we're not touching because that's where we're working inside. Suppose we delete anything uh, wrong, we will all be logged out of it. So that's why I'm avoiding this in the first place. But you can always try the whole lab at your own time. This is forever available for anyone. You can just create your own AWS. But default one is very, very risky. We will all lose access if something goes wrong there, right? Hmm. So Hamid is saying, will it not interrupt? Yeah, Harshan is saying, will it not interrupt and subnets for everyone? Why don't we make another VPC for the class? Dylan says, in subnets for everyone. Another, I can only create 5 VPCs, non-default VPCs. So that's why if I could create 20 separate VPCs, yeah, then it would be, but I can only create 5 VPCs. So guys, I understand you really want to do the work, but we might end up doing it the long way. We won't be able to even finish the lab. You won't be able to understand what's going on. Main thing is understand the concepts. Lab is recorded. You can do that lab anytime, right? And when you're not losing the marks now, I'm supporting you this much. I just want you to understand here now, and let me finish the lab because I need to explain a lot of critical concepts. Without that, obviously, the whole VPC will be useless. Even if you do the lab but you don't understand it, then what good is putting time on this VPC, right? So my suggestion, if you can't do it, just try to understand now and take screenshots of my screen. Will not remove one and make 1%. Okay, so remove one. Whoa, one student can work while others can't. Then I am not able to understand what you're saying. There are 4 VPCs there. You have to have your own VPC for this lab. Why? If you're because we need to do some configurations here for these 2 subnets uh, that are connected to this particular VPC. So suppose one VPC and more subnets, 20 subnets there, 2 subnets for each student. If you go for that, that I need to test. It will definitely mess up because we're about to create a internet gateway now. Internet gateway can only be once created here. That's why every student has to have their own VPC. And I'm going to explain that how internet gateway, why do we create that and how to create it. And you have to connect it to the VPC and then you have to connect it to the, so everyone who is doing this has to have their own VPC for this. That's why just one VPC for 20 students will really mess it up. But, well, I was just looking for solutions. Okay. Yes, I understand, and I really salute you for trying to, and salute all of you actually for really trying to get that lab. I also have a concept that without lab we don't understand, so that's why we're recording it. You can just try it any other time as well, or you can create your own free 1-year AWS account with your credit card. And the way I do the lab with credit cards, I do in other colleges. I can share that video. Not even a single cent you will lose, and you will be able to do much bigger labs than these. Okay, well, let me just go ahead, guys, because this is a long lab, and you need to, if you understand, you can do the lab million times, but if you don't understand, those million times will be all waste of time. Okay, so let me just go ahead and go to create lab now. So I was creating a subnet here, right? And that subnet is subnet 101. It's your first name public subnet. Availability zone for organization purposes 1A, but you can give any other availability zone as well if you want. And obviously it is asking for a CIDR, class as inter-domain routing block, which is just IP range /24. So we're giving according to, I'm going to do Alt Tab now to switch to other screen. This is what we planned, so that's what we're going for. And name, yeah, key value tag you want to give, you can give. So I gave a name of I selected a VPC, my VPC, non-default VPC. I gave a name to the subnet, selected the availability zone, and gave the IP range. That's all we need to do for a subnet. Okay, it says all good. I was just curious if all of us can use same VPC. Oh, wasn't that what Dylan was saying? So Hamid, there's some parts of the lab require that you should be the only one on the VPC. So that's why it's no-go. But if you want to try with someone else yourself, but you're going to be stuck at a certain point that I'm about to explain. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click the create subnet. And one subnet got created here, right? And I named it public subnet, but I haven't done anything to make it public. So I'm going to select this. In fact, let me just create the private subnet as well. Then I'm going to show you how to make one of them public and not the other one as public and the other one as private. So how to differentiate between the two? Where is that feature? So first of all, I'm going to create the private subnet with the same naming convention. I'm going to click create subnet again, and I'm going to select the default non-default VPC with my name, and I'm going to go ahead and go for your first name dash private dash subnet. And then I'm going to go for, and I just went for availability zone 1A as we discussed already. It could be any other 10010/24. So 10010/24, right? So if I switch to the, so this is what we planned. It has to be just a different IP range, obviously, nothing. So when you create two subnets, AWS as well as Microsoft Azure, as well as Google Cloud, as well as Oracle Cloud, all kinds of clouds, they automatically connect your multiple subnets, two or more subnets. They automatically connect them with a what? With a routing table. Routing table. So this routing table I'm going to show you. Let me just create the private subnet now, and I'm going to show you where is it. So yeah, non-default VPC, name of the subnet, 1A just for organization, availability zone, and the IP range. Once we have given that, I'm just going to simply create subnet. So now that's the second subnet, and I want to see my two subnets there. And since they start with my name, first of all, I'm just going to remove this filter or clear filter, so I would be able to see now all subnets here, and those who were able to create that. But I want to see my named subnet. So what do? I go to filter, and I know that my two subnets start with my name, so I'm going to go for your first name, like my name, and I'll just press enter. That whichever subnets start with this name, just show those. So I'm just going to press enter here, and this is how it's looking like. So guys, two subnets created, screenshot 3. Two subnets created. So you can take a screenshot of my screen now, for those who don't have this. So two subnets created, screenshot 3. Take a screenshot of my screen. Take a screenshot of my screen. Two subnets created is the name of the screenshot. Two subnets created, right? So I'll just go ahead and write and put it there. So hopefully you've taken screenshot 3 of my screen. Screenshot 3. 2 subnets created. Okay, and here also screenshot 3, 2 subnets created. So I'll just put my screen back, so anyone who missed it, go ahead and take a screenshot of my screen, and 2 subnets created is the name. Now I need to show that how can we differentiate between okay, so there's a comment, we can see all the subnets, and we can screenshot of our screen as well, right? Yes, yes, sure. um, we can see all subnets. Yep, there are. Wow. Okay. So okay, so guys are working on do not delete. Hey, there are other subnets where the names are not there. So if you are going with this option, guys, just do not disrupt anything, and be very careful. Actually, at the end of this, do not delete anything yourself. I'm gonna delete, right? So at the end of this, do not delete what you created, or be very careful. If anyone deletes the default subnet, you will lose big marks, right? So I'm saying don't delete anything yourself. Only let me delete at the end, because you will disrupt the next labs as well, the second section labs. So please don't delete anything, right? If some of you have gone with the default, as long as you can do that, yes, it's okay. Wherever you're stuck, and I hope you don't disrupt my lab, because I have to show you the whole thing, right? If any one of your action disrupts my lab as well, so then we all are stuck with it, right? So doing the lab, learning, yes, but then disrupting me might not be useful for those who really want to learn as well. Okay, so you're going with this. I haven't tried that yet. It may be doable, but I hope it does not disrupt me, and let me explain everything. Yeah, okay. So yeah, you can, those who have created the subnets, go ahead, take screenshots of your own subnet, but just do not delete at the end anything. Let me delete carefully. If I mistakenly delete the default ones, obviously I'll be at fault, but you don't want to be on the fault on that side, deleting something that disrupts next labs, right? Okay, so okay guys, let's go ahead. And what I was doing was, I'm just gonna put this here, your first name, and I've taken my screenshot, you took your screenshots, we're good. Okay, now what? So how do we know that which subnet is actually public? Just by giving the name doesn't mean it has internet connection. Just by putting private doesn't mean it's not gonna get internet connection. So what is the setting there? So first, let's go to the public subnet and select it, and then I'm gonna go to the action side, right? And there's a option called modify auto sign IP settings, right? Modify auto sign IP settings. So let's click that, modify auto sign IP settings. So it says here enable auto sign public IPv4 address. So it says if you select it, it will start giving you public IPs. So for the public subnet, yes, we want the public IPs to be given. So I'm gonna select it only for public subnet. Now it is actually public subnet because it's gonna get public IPs automatically from AWS, VPC, DHCP, right? So I'm gonna click save here. Yes, this is a public subnet, so yes, I need public IPs. Save. But you know that the default setting is not to provide public IPs. So we will still visit the private subnet, although it is already configured perfect, because default setting is not to give public IPs, and it is on default setting. So I'm just going to go select the private subnet. I'm going to still go there to actions. I'm going to still click the modify auto sign IP settings, and I'm not going to click that because I don't need public IPs. Now, this means officially that private subnet is actually private because it won't get any public IPs automatically for its virtual machines by VPC. Okay, so I'm going to not click this and click save. This is important to understand what makes a private subnet private and public subnet public. So this is how we do it, right? So if you understand that, let's go ahead. So if I switch to the diagram, now accepts public IPs, yes, this subnet will accept public IPs. Accepts private IPs, yes, this will only accept private IPs and not public. But then the next question, is the routing already enabled between the two subnets? Is it or not? Okay, let's prove that yes it is automatically. I mean, we don't have to create manually a route there for this. So if you see that same window here, I'm gonna uncheck this, and you go scroll to the right, scroll, keep scrolling until you see this route table. Now route table ID is given there. Whenever a route table is created, that is routing or telling, or it's controlling the traffic flow, right? It's enabling routing between two subnets or two networks. So route table ID is same for private subnet. Route table ID is same for the public subnet. So this means that if the same route table is connected to both public and private subnet, which means obviously the routing is already enabled. If you create a virtual machine now in public subnet and you create a virtual machine now in private subnet, they will communicate with each other, they will ping each other already. So we don't have to create enable routing. And you know that the IPs are different. If the IPs are different, they can't ping each other unless routing is enabled. And yes, routing is enabled. You need a router for different range IP addresses to talk to each other, right? You need a router for that. So that is already made available by AWS. That's the same thing in Azure. That's the same thing in Google Cloud as well, and Oracle Cloud as well, and every cloud as well. Okay, anyway, and if you need labs for all those, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud, I'll just give you access. Okay, anyway, for those who really want to pursue certifications plus labs for the job environment. Okay guys, so here now we have known that there is routing table enabled. Okay, so what now? Well, and what about this that I was talking to, that internet gateway? What is this? So internet gateway is internet gateway. So what does it do? It provides internet, hence the name internet gateway. So why do we need it? Because when you create a non-default VPC, your own custom VPC, so AWS does not provide you automatically internet connection. If you need it, if you need internet connection, go ahead and create your own, manually create your own internet gateway, manually connect it to the VPC and the right subnet inside the VPC. That's what you need to do in AWS for non-default VPCs to get internet connection. So this is different in Microsoft Azure. When you create a non-default VNet in Azure, Microsoft Azure, you get internet automatically. You don't have to create an internet gateway there. While in AWS, you have to create an internet gateway separately, manually yourself, right? So we need to create an internet gateway. Okay, how to tell this internet gateway which VPC to send internet traffic to, and which exact subnet to send internet traffic to. So we do create internet gateway, but we need to manually tell that as well, that how to connect traffic. So we need to create another route table now between the internet gateway. So first we create internet gateway, we name it something, we connect it to this VPC, then we actually tell it manually by creating a route table that you that one part of the route table needs to connect to the internet gateway, other part of the route table needs to connect to the public subnet, because we want public subnet to only receive traffic from internet. It's our choice. You want to connect this route table to public subnet and private subnet? Yes, you can do that. You want to connect this, suppose you had 200 subnets here and you want to connect route table to 200 subnets? Yes, you can do that too. So we're, as our plan, we need only public subnet to receive traffic from internet. So we're going to only tell route table, hey, receive traffic from internet gateway and send it to public subnet only, not private subnet. Okay, we get the point, right? So we understand, oh, we need to create an internet gateway separately in AWS. In Microsoft Azure, we don't need to do that. They just automatically give you internet connection in your private VNet. In private VPC, we have to do it. In AWS, we need to do it ourselves, which is pretty cool. You will see that many of the AWS features are very, very professional, where Microsoft is just reaching now, right? So they're the AWS guys are the innovators in the cloud market. Microsoft does a very good copy of that. Sorry, Microsoft. Okay, we're still friends, Microsoft, right? Because this. So let's go ahead. We had created the subnets, and I had explained. Oh, really? Don't tell me. Okay. Yeah. So the BSOD, because of that, did I create a? No, I did not. So I'm going to quickly create. So we had a VPC here, and then we 10.0.0/16, and then we had two subnets here, and that is your first name, pub, like subnet 1 10.0.0 slash 24, and then I didn't put one there actually, so the other one is private. And we talked about the routing table, we saw that too. Table. And what we were discussing was then that we need to create an internet gateway, right? So I'll just copy till now what we have in the diagram. So we will have that diagram. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create an internet gateway, and that's what I was talking about, that in order to create an internet gateway, now those who are doing it in the default gateway, there's already an internet gateway connected there, right? So you won't be able to connect the internet gateway there. That's if you're doing it on the default gateway, you won't be able to connect it there. So that's what I was saying, that this lab works with internet independent VPC, non-default VPC. So what I'm trying to explain here, and hopefully you're trying to understand, that we need to manually create a route table, that will really tell the internet gateway that whatever 0 traffic is coming from your side, and the traffic is 0.0.0.0/0. So that's any traffic, right? So whatever traffic is coming from internet needs to go to this VPC and needs to actually go to this public subnet. So that's what we need to do. So I'm going to create an internet gateway now. I'm going to connect that internet gateway to the VPC. Now those who are doing it in the default VPC, you won't be able to do that. So, and please don't try to do that as well if you're all disrupted. So we won't be able to go with this lab anywhere. Um, I'm going to go to the internet gateway. I'm going to create that. I'm going to connect that internet gateway to the non-default VPC. So I'll just put that here. Non-default VPC, right? You know what? After that BSOD, I'm just taking screenshots of whatever else I'm creating quickly. Okay, so I'm going to go to internet gateways here. This one, internet gateways, and then there is default internet gateway already created there. We just connected to the do not delete default VPC. I'm gonna name that default gateway. Now AWS is, I don't know what's the reason they are doing this, but we can actually by mistake we can delete the default internet gateway, which is giving our default VPC the internet. So if you're able to create any virtual machines that and then you need to connect to those virtual machines inside your default VPC, so that this is because you have internet gateway already given here. So do not delete, it's default internet gateway. So I'll click save here. So this is crucial that we don't do this default internet gateway. So internet gateway, I'm on this screen, but I'm gonna uncheck this, because if this is deleted, then we can't really connect anything to our environment. So I'm gonna click that create internet gateway here, and once I click the create internet gateway, I'm just gonna name it your first name dash internet dash gateway dash your first name internet gateway. That's it. So I can just go for non-default just to keep it safe, and then I'm gonna click create internet gateway. So the internet gateway is created here. I'm gonna click that, and there you go. People are creating internet gateway as well. If you have your own non-default VPC only, then you can go there. Otherwise, don't do that. And yeah, we need to keep our default VPC intact. That's on top of which we are all working. So what I need to do is I need to connect the internet gateway. I need to tell the internet gateway which VPC you need to connect to. So if I switch there, so it needs to be told which VPC it is connected to. So I'm selecting my internet gateway, and I'm going to actions here where it says attach to VPC. So pretty simple and straightforward logic here. So I'm going to click that attach to VPC here, and go for my own VPC, non-default VPC. That's it. Simply connect your non-default internet gateway. We don't call it non-default, we just call it internet gateway, but it's connected to our non-default VPC. So I'm going to click attach internet gateway here, and so this is going to be the internet gateway is attached, but still internet gateway does not know which subnet to send internet traffic to, right? That has to be manually told as well. So in that case, we need to create this guy route table ourselves now, and connect it to internet gateway and to the public subnet, right? So we're gonna go here to the route tables. We're gonna click the route tables here, and you also see that route tables are also available already. These are the default route tables. If I go for my named route table. So there's one route table here that is connecting my two subnets, right? So this is the default route table. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to name my well, there's that route table. At least I will name this one, which is do not delete, and obviously you don't need to do that. I'm just going to quickly type here do not delete, right? This is the default route table of the default VPC, and my non-default is the route table is already created there. I'm about to create another route table that will connect to the internet gateway and to the public subnet. So I'm going to click that create route table. I will have to name this one because there are others are not named here. So I'm going to click create route table here, and name tag would be IGW. So your first name dash IGW, your first name internet gateway to public subnet. So that's what this route table intends to do. It intends to receive traffic from IGW internet gateway to public subnet and forward it to public subnet. So I'm going to go for VPC here, and in the VPC I'll go for your first name, non-default VPC, your first name, non-default VPC, and then I'm going to click create. So, and then click close. And so what we see here is that there's a route table created, but it doesn't do anything for now. It's created, right? So we need to make it do something. So it would be your first name IGW to public subnet. Now I'm going to click my route table, which for now doesn't do anything, but one part of this, so one section or one end of this. So if I say this end needs to connect to the internet gateway, this end need to connect to the public subnet. So we're working on this end for now, and we're telling it that you're connected to internet gateway, which is receiving traffic from anywhere. So we're about to do this. So I have to select my route table, and then I'm going to go down here to the routes. So routes area is going to be talking about, hey, where's your traffic coming from? And obviously the subnet association is just talking about which subnet to associate this end of the route table. So the other end, the internet side, we're here. So if we are in the routes, I'm going to click edit routes. And I'm going to add an extra route here, another route. I'm going to click that button add route because I need to tell it that there's an internet gateway that is receiving traffic from internet or anywhere. I'm going to click that add route. And first of all, what kind of traffic are we expecting? So I'm going to say 0.0.0.0.0/0. And through which are you receiving traffic from anywhere? So through what service? So then you can it drops down and say that it lets you select that which service is actually helping you connect to get the traffic from anywhere or from the internet. So it's the internet gateway that is doing that. And then suppose you have created multiple internet gateways. It's going to show you multiple internet gateways, or I'm just clicking the internet gateway that I see here. And so one end of the route table, this end of the route table is told that the traffic is coming from anywhere through internet gateway, and this end is connected to the internet gateway now, right? So I'm going to click save routes. So that's one end of the route table, right? And close. And then there is the other end, subnet association. That's the easy one, right? So if I keep my route table clicked and go to the subnet association. So this is, if I switch to the diagram, this end here, and that end is asking which subnet should we connect. So if I switch back, so I'm going to go for edit subnet association for this route table. And do you want to connect it to the private subnet or the public subnet or both? So obviously we need to connect it to the public subnet. So I'm going to select that. I'm just testing if we can select both. Yes, we can select both. Like we can. So I was saying that in the introduction that if you have 200 subnets, yes, you can connect the route table to 200 subnets. Yes, you can. So, well, if you can select 2, you can select 200 as well. Well, okay. So just only connect to the public one and save. So if I switch, so this route table that we created is connected on one side to the internet gateway that is receiving traffic from anywhere, and the other side it's going to now drop this traffic, forward this traffic to public subnet only, not private subnet, right? Okay, so once that is done, then we need to go for the next steps, and the next step is the SG. So in fact the SG will get created when we create the virtual machine here, right? So it would be the 2 virtual machines that we're going to create there, and the 2 virtual machines will this is the public VM, and this public VM is the, you know, it's the jump PC as well, so jump box as well, right? And then there is that private VM, right? But when you create a virtual machine or EC2 instance, what else you need to create? You have to create an SG as well. You always have to create a security group. Why? When you're creating a virtual machine, it's going to ask. Can you show again the subnet association? Oh, okay. So the subnet association is this. First of all, the routes. So you select that, and then you go to routes, and then you click edit routes. So you type here this IP version, and you have to select the internet gateway. I hope this is oh, good now. Okay, so I'll just go to the diagram. So what we're talking about, you have to create a security group here, and this security group is allowing RDP from 0.0.0.0/0, right? So the first public virtual machines security group will be like this, and it's the private virtual machine security group that needs to be changed, because private subnet is only accepting traffic from public subnet, so it needs to give the IP of that subnet from whom it is allowing traffic to come. So it is only allowing traffic to come from 10.0.0.24, which is a public subnet. So private subnet is not going to accept traffic from internet anyway, and it's only accepting traffic from the public subnet. So when we create public virtual machine, we're going to create this security group with this kind of configuration. When we're creating private virtual machine, we're going to create that machine security group. We're going to configure it with this setting, that this subnet only accept traffic from public subnet, while public subnet accept traffic from internet, right? So I'm going to go for public virtual machine creation. I need to attach the public VM to public subnet, and I'm going to attach the public VM to the non-default VPC. So you need to attach carefully all the virtual machine to the correct subnets and VPC. So I'm going to, now this is the VPC dashboard, right? So I need to go. I'm gonna right click and duplicate this. Why? Because I need to create two virtual machines now, one for the public subnet and one for the private subnet. Also, one more thing, I'll still duplicate one more, which you don't have to do that. I'm just checking it in IAM quickly, where we gave permissions to the groups, and EC2. Okay, so we can create virtual machines. So I have duplicated this because I need to go with the first one is already on VPC dashboard, which is okay. I'm going to go for the second tab. I need to go to the EC2 dashboard now, right? So I'm going to go to services. I'm going to go to EC2 dashboard, right? And in the EC2 dashboard, I'll go for instances because I need to create first the public instance and then the private instance. So I'm going to click instances here. And before that, I'll go back to the VPC. Why? Because there is a a manual route table that we created that and we need to take a screenshot of this. So screenshot 4 would be the route table created. Screenshot 4 would be, and you can take a screenshot of my screen. Screenshot 4 route table created. I hope you're understanding. That's one of the most important things, and then you can repeat the lab anytime. So screenshot 4 is route table created. Screenshot 4 route table created. You can take a screenshot of my screen. Screenshot 4 route table created. Route table created. Oh, 5? Sure. No. Really? Okay, well, maybe. It's 3, man. Last one is 3. So this is 4. Subnets created was 4. That's subnet. Oh, maybe I put 3 2 times. No, that's 2. Your VPC. That's 1. Nope. All are accounted for. Subnets created is 3. So this is 4. Which one is 4, guys? Why did I not put it on WhatsApp as well as here? So subnets created is 3, suppose, and the previous one was your VPC. So for 2 subnets created, yeah, it's 3. Then what is 3 in, for you? I have 3 here. That is VPC. Oh, internet gateway. Did I take a screenshot for that? Error message is a screenshot. Oh, okay. You guys created a, yeah, which I didn't create. Okay, so okay. Okay. So yeah, I can number that. Okay. So I'm just gonna go back here, down. I'll make it 5 because, and I'll put it in notes. Screenshot 4 doesn't don't worry about the numbering. For errored out VPC is counted as a screenshot. Is counted as a screenshot. Okay. So forget the numbering. Actually, those who got error out, you may not have reached this stage. Okay, so screenshot 5 is route table created. So so the four guys who did not get the VPC error, they're saying, hey, what is the 4? So you can also those who did not get the error, the 4 people, the 4 students, you can just write exactly what I wrote here. Screenshot 4 errored out VPC is counted as a screenshot. Just write that. That's it. In support of those who could not go ahead. Right? Okay, screenshot 4 errored out VPC is counted as a screenshot. And okay, I need to put it in WhatsApp, and then I'll just go ahead quickly. Screenshot 5 route table created. Let me just screenshot 5 route table created, and I need the screenshot 5 again now. So others, you can take a screenshot of my screen. Okay, so that's done. I'm just going to go to the EC2 now, and I'll go for instances. I'm going to launch instance number 1. So I'm going to click launch instance. Okay, so I'm going to go down to what we did. Okay, so for me the screenshot 4 was the subnets page. Yeah, so Dylan, so screenshot 5 is this, what I asked, right? Screenshot 4 is the subnet. Well, now let's not worry about the numbering. You can put 3 as this. I put 3 as this 2 subnets. After that, I went for screenshot 4. I just wrote this statement, and you may have the actual error VPC as screenshot 2 or 1. So don't go for the numbering either, as long as you have the total number correct. And we can all start from 5 as the route table created. So you're okay. If you have other number, it's okay, doesn't matter. Okay, so it's not in the OneNote. Okay, so what's not in the OneNote, Dylan? This is my 2 subnet screenshot. Okay, there you go. Let's go ahead. And let me just what I was doing was launch instance. So I'm launching the instance here. I'm going to go down here, and there is this. Whoa, okay. First of all, on the left side, I'm clicking free tier only, right? Free tier only, and just like we have been doing till now. And then I'm going for Windows Server 2019 base free tier eligible. I'm going to select. So this is what we have done before as well. So I'm going to go for free tier eligible. I'm going to click select. Nothing in the choose instance type. It's always just t2.micro. I'm going to click configure instance details. And then, because this is supposed to be the public VM for the public subnet, so I'm going to first check that is my VPC correct. No, it's not. It's the default VPC. I want to go for my non-default VPC, which is this. And once I select the non-default VPC, it will then line up the 2 subnets that I created in the non-default VPC. So I'll select the public subnet. And for the public subnet, the configuration is to use the auto-assign public IP. So it's just saying that whatever you selected in the public subnet, it will just simply select that, and it says that it is enabled. Auto-assign public IP feature is enabled. So I'm going to go for, so these are the three things that you need to worry about: VPC, subnet, and public IP. 3 things on configure instance. So if these 3 things are correct, Then we can go to add storage. And obviously nothing in the add storage, so we can go to add tags. Nothing in the add tags. Then we go to configure security group. Now this is important obviously, and it's actually on the default setting here, which is RDP DCP 3389000, pretty much what we wanted. If I switch to the diagram, exactly that's what we wanted here. So that's what we have by default configured for this machine, so it's okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put here on the top dash your first name, and once that is done, I'm going to click review and launch, right? So review and launch gives me this screen. We've gone through that before as well. So I'm just gonna click launch, which will ask for the key pair, right? So it is asking choose existing key pair or create a new one. So I'm just gonna go for new one here, but I will use that new one for the next machine as well for today. So I'll just put the KP key pair dash 06April2021, and I will have to download the key pair. So, and I'll put it on downloads folder, in downloads folder, save, right, just like before, and I'm gonna launch instances. So I'm gonna launch the first instance here, and this is the ID of the ints and temps. Okay. Well, I at once need to name it. I need to quickly name my instance. I'm just going to go there and put it as your first name dash public VM. Oh, what happened? First name dash, whoa. Okay, when I was typing caps, it was somehow not accepting it. Okay, so your first name public VM, I click that. Now I'm gonna clear filters here, and I just see one more machine here. Okay, so now let's go for the private machine. So I'm just gonna click the launch instances here. How can they be same? I put my name there. Oh, key pair. Ah, okay, just put something different. Key pair has to be different name. So yeah, just put dash at the end, or dash and your name again, or anything, any unique word there, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go for the private instance. If I switch to the diagram, yes, we need sgrdp 10.0.0/24. It's accepting traffic only from public subnet, so we need to be careful here when we are going to the security group. And I'm gonna go click launch instances again, and I'll click again free tier only on the left side here. I'll go down, 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 Microsoft Server 2019 base. So I'm going to click select. Well, it's the, same drill. And I'm going to click configure instances. This time I have to be careful again which subnet is this machine going to belong to, and which VPC obviously. If I select that, it is your first name VPC, and it's the private subnet, and here the public IP is disabled, right? add storage. I'm going to click that, add storage, and add tags. So nothing in add storage, nothing in add tags, and configure security group. And I'll just give it your first name here as well. This time we need to be careful here. RDP 3389, yes, but not from custom. So, well, not from the 00. So I'm just gonna change that to, I'm just gonna, because it's on custom, so I can put it anything else. 10 000, yeah, everything is good. /24. That's it, right? So RDP connection for this particular machine will be only acceptable from this IP range based virtual machine or EC2 instance, right? So that's the main thing we need to make sure that we configure here. And nowhere here it says which machine I'm creating, right? So okay, let's click review and launch. I was gonna say launch, it's launch or launch. Okay, so I'm just gonna click that, and then launch. Now I'm going to choose existing key pair, the key pair that I created today. Whoa, really? Okay, 6 April, yeah, that's above here, and 6 April, what? Oh, I created just this KP and 6 April, but I didn't put my name there. Yikes. Okay, so is that the key that I am sure I have? Let me be sure about it. Downloads. Date modified. 6 April 2021. Yep. KP-6 April 2021. KP-6 April 2021. Yeah. Okay. I acknowledge and launch instances. Alright, okay. So then I put the ID, click the ID here. I need to give the name to the machine right away. So I'll name it as the first name dash private dash VM. Oh, serious? First name. No kidding. Oh, okay. So I'll open a notepad. Dash private VM. Control C, Alt Tab. Okay, save. Gotcha. Well, not sure why it was removing it. So now the second machine is there, and I need to clear filters. And yeah, we got multiple machines here. Now I'm gonna go to the public VM. I'm gonna unselect the private VM. I'm gonna select the public VM, right? I'm gonna select the public VM and go up, 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 up. So in public VM, I get a public IP, this one. I get a private IP, this one, right? And so yeah, this will be screenshot number 6 and 7. So details of public VM, the public VM you select, then the details tab, and it goes for, it shows me the public IP and the private IP, right? So you can take a screenshot of my screen now. Public VM configuration is the name. Public VM configuration. Take a screenshot here, screenshot 6, public VM configuration, screenshot 6, public VM configuration. Okay, so I'll just quickly 6 public VM configuration, same screenshot for private VM with the same naming type. So screenshot 6 public VM configuration. So I'm just going to go back to this, and now I'm going to uncheck this and go to my private VM for the details tab for the private VM. Again, now you can see that there is no IPv4 here, public IP, but there is a private IP here. So select the screen, that's private VM, and then select the screenshot. Take a screenshot of my screen. Private VM configuration. Screenshot 7. Private VM configuration. Screenshot 7. Private VM configuration. Private VM configuration. So screenshot 7. Private VM configuration, right? Screenshot 7, private VM configuration. Okay, so now the configurations, if I switch to the diagram here, so we got the virtual machines created, the SGs created here, the internet gateway, the route table, the 2 subnets, and the non-default VPC created here. So what we need to check is that can we connect an RDP to the jump box here, and once we are able to jump box to go RDP into the jump box, then are we able to connect with RDP to the private machine as well? So RDP connection here, and then RDP connection here as well. If our networking is okay, then we will be able to go to the private VM. If our networking is not okay, obviously you won't be able to do that. So screenshot 8 would be then connecting to this machine, and screenshot 9 would be connecting to this machine here. But how and what is involved inside this, let's check it out. So first of all, I'm just going to connect to my public VM. If you want to connect to the private VM directly, you won't be able to, right? Why? Because the private VM does not have a public IP, and we are across the internet. We need a public IP to reach there. So the only way to connect to that environment, non-default VPC, is through the public VM. So I'm going to select that public VM, and I'm going to click Co and Net, and then I'll go to the RDP client, and we know the drill from here that I need to get password, and it's looking for this key pair, so I know where that is. I'm going to click browse, and then it's in the downloads and key pair. And then I'm going to click de-encrypt. So we've done that before as well. So now it is, I'm just going to put it on this OneNote. Oh, sorry, Notepad, and that is for public VM. I'll just put it here. Oh, public IP, and so private VM. I need to Alt Tab. Well, I'll just go there. First, I will just try to connect from public VM, and then I'm just gonna download the remote desktop file, and it's this file is being downloaded now. The RDP. It's there. It has all the information other than the password. So I'm gonna click that and connect. So we know the drill. Okay, so the password is here. I'll just Alt Tab. So once we connect here, now we need to connect to the other machine as well, right? So that would be well, it's gonna load. While it is loading, I need to grab the information of the private VM as well, because I need to launch our RDP connection from within this virtual machine that helps us connect to the private virtual machine. Now, private virtual machine, I need to know the private IP of that virtual machine as well as the password of the local administrator of that virtual machine, right? So if I go to, I'm in the public virtual machine, and what are the IP configurations here? It's popping up here on the top right as well, and it shows this is the public IP and this is the private IP. So 10.0.0.51 is the private IP. So and it's in this availability zone, right? So the screenshot 8 would be this configuration here, screenshot 8, this configuration. So public VM config, screenshot 8, public VM config. I'll just take that screenshot now. You can take the screenshot of my screen, this one, because it shows that the name of the machine here, outside name of the machine, because outside name is not showing here inside. So inside is the computer name, the OS name is showing here, this one. So outside name here, take a screenshot of my screen then, and public VM config. I'll just take a screenshot like this, sample screenshot, and I'll go there to screenshot 8, public VM config, and that's the screenshot 8, public VM config. Screenshot 8, public VM config. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the information of the private VM. So if I come here, then I'm going to cancel the public virtual machine connection I'll cancel that. I cannot connect directly to the private VM, so obviously I'm not gonna try to, but I'm gonna select the private VM here, and I need the IP of this machine, but I also need the password of the local administrator of this machine. So I'm just gonna copy this information in Notepad, private VM, and also the password I need for the local administrator. We know the username is administrator, but what's the password? So I've selected that already. I need to click the connect button still because that's the only way I can get the local password. I'm going to click connect, and then I'm going to click RDP. I'm not trying to connect directly because I can't. It's just private IP. So over the internet I can't connect like this, but I need to get the password, and this is the only way to get it. So I'm going to click the get password here for the private VM, and obviously it's looking for the same key pair. So I'm going to click browse here, and that's the same key pair here. Got it. And D and crypt. So I got the password. So I'm just going to copy this and put it there. All right. So I'll just go back here to the public VM, because from within that I need to launch the connection to the private VM. So I'm just going to go ahead and expand that public VM machine. I need to open the RDP connection. So I'm going to right click here and go to run and type here MSTSC, Microsoft Terminal Services Console, MSTSC, Microsoft Terminal Services Console, MSTSC. I'm going to press OK here to MSTSC, and this just opens the remote desktop connection. I need the private IP of that machine. And I need to click connect. So I know that the username is administrator, and the password is long, so I'll go for copy, paste, and well, if our whole network is okay, it's gonna work. If our networking has any issues anywhere, so it's not gonna work now, right? So I'm gonna press OK here, and it asks for self-sign certificate, and press yes, and all right, so it's going ahead, and that does show that our configuration is okay. So I'm just gonna restore down button, this one. I click that so I could see the public VM, public IP outside, and the private VM, private IP here. In fact, I'm just gonna restore down further here for this. So it's gonna, the other machine is opening in the other box. The public VM shows like this, and the private VM shows like this. So but I still need this type of screenshot here than the together screenshot. So I have maximized this public VM. I'm going to maximize this private VM as well, and press yes. So private VM is still loading. well, I was expecting something coming here, but I think it's too slow. Well, okay, so we can forget the screenshot for this. It's not gonna come, I guess, or it's gonna come too late. So I'll just switch to this view where, oh, you got it, okay. Nothing here. Okay, so well, in my case, maybe it's loading real slow. So, oh, there you go. So guys, you can take a screenshot of the private VM. So this would be a private VM config. So this is private VM config. Take a screenshot here of this. Well, while the previous can also show, especially this private IP and public IP. So private VM config. Take a screenshot of my screen. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of the whole screen here. So inside OS name is also showing here, and instance ID inside is also showing, and t2.microtype is showing. It's AMD based architecture, not Intel, and it's US East 1A is the zone. So that's private VM config is the name for that. Actually, private VM config is the name, but this same screenshot is also showing that the lab was successful. So screenshot 9. Private VM config. Private. No, it's per private VM config. Screenshot 9. Private VM config. Excuse me. And well, you know what? Screenshot 9 also shows that you know the lab was successful. Private VM config plus the lab was successful, because that's the same screenshot that shows. This is a screen normally. I always need a screenshot of that. From within the public VM, you're able to connect to the private VM as well, and that is because even though it's the private subnet, because routing is already enabled between the two subnets, and it's the private VM can only accept traffic from public VM, which is in public subnet. So because of those security group configurations, this is it seems like easy, straightforward, but obviously if you configure the traffic flow carefully, yes, then it will really be easy and it will work fine. So this you can just also put the name there for that private VM screenshot 9 private VM config. Okay, so I'll cancel out from here, and well, when it comes to deleting, so here we so there's VPC, there's subnets, there's route tables, there's internet gateway, routes, subnet associations. So that is going to. So This means that the final screenshot was already taken there, because that screenshot also shows that we connected to the other one. Also, there is AWS. Yeah, so there are some other features as well in networking that well, there are very long list of, there's 200 plus services, right? So there are so many features or long listed features there that are available as well. If I go for AWS VPC again, and so there's in the pricing, if I go to the pricing, um, so there is AWS site-to-site VPN also that can be configured. I have actually done a full lab on that in on different occasions in different colleges. It requires a lot of resources, pretty long lab, and it's totally Linux machines. But if anyone needs access for your job environment, yes, I'll just send you that, and you can do the lab yourself in your own AWS environment. Uh, so site-to-site VPN, obviously you can connect. The benefit is that from a private machine in one site or in one AWS subscription, you can connect to a private IP machine in another subscription, because VPN lets you do that private IP configurations. Then there are other services there. VPC reachability analyzer. So are you able to reach the other network there, and analyzer for that? There's AWS private link pricing is showing there, and traffic mirroring pricing is there. If I go to the features once more, so these are all written here as well. Flow logs. So there's reachability analyzer is a static configuration analysis tool that enables you to analyze and debug network reachability between two resources in your VPC. So then there is VPC flow logs. You can monitor your VPC flow logs delivered to Amazon S3 or Amazon CloudWatch to gain operational visibility into your network dependencies. So obviously log files, if you want to check that, and through that you can want to check the flow of network. Then there is traffic mirroring. VPC traffic mirroring allows you to copy network traffic from an elastic network interface of so if from a virtual machine network card, if you want to copy traffic to diagnose it later in a sniffer, you can do that too with traffic mirroring. Incoming or ingress routing, this allows you to route all incoming and outgoing traffic flowing to from an internet gateway or virtual private gateway to a specific EC2 instances. So virtual private gateway normally is used to connect the client to you from the client environment. Uh, an internet gateway is the internet site that connects to the client branch. So security groups. Security groups act as Security group act as a firewall for associated Amazon EC2 instances. So we talked about security group. We configured security group already, and then there is network access control list. A network access control list (ACL) is an optional layer of security for your VPC that acts as a firewall for controlling traffic in and out of one or more subnets. So security group and access control list pretty much do the same thing, but security group works on the virtual machine level or EC2 instance level, and network access control list works on the VPC level. But they both really work like a firewall, one on the machine level, one on the network or the VPC level, to allow block traffic from whichever IP you want to allow to whichever IP, and which type of traffic you want to allow and which type of traffic you don't want to allow. One works on the network level, other works on the virtual machine level. So, but amazingly, they're both doing exactly the same task of allowing, not allowing type of traffic and to and from where. Excuse me. And so there is that easy transit gateway, easily connect Amazon VPCs, AWS accounts, and on-premises networks to a single gateway. Transit gateway, just you want to connect VPCs from different subscriptions, so then you can connect those VPCs together. Private link, establish private connectivity between VPCs and services hosted on AWS or on premises without exposing data to internet. So that's again totally private link or private IP based connectivity between the VPCs as well as on premises to VPC. AWS network firewall, so obviously that's the network firewall, deploy network security across your Amazon VPCs with just a few clicks. Although you have SG there, that is also working as a firewall, but obviously this firewall by the name firewall would have more advanced features of security and so AWS network firewall is managed service that makes it easy to deploy essential network protections for all of your VPCs. The service can be set up with a few clicks, and they do charge a lot, but for big organizations, obviously, nothing is more important than security for the critical data. So you don't have to worry about deploying and managing any infrastructure. So firewall's flexible rules engine lets you define firewall rules that give you fine-grained control over network traffic. Okay, uh, if we go a little down here, managed infrastructure for high availability, flexible protection through fine-grained controls. So obviously, SG and ACLs would be basically doing two types of jobs. So which type of traffic from where to where. But firewall, it does check a lot of other uh, hacker attacks related defenses. It also offers you the denial of service attack and many other type of defenses against those type of attacks. So firewall definitely would work for protecting applications, and it's not going to be as basic as your SG security groups and your ACLs. So it would really go inspects and filters all traffic entering the AWS network firewall. So obviously, just like there are many complex firewalls, and they have huge mechanisms for all types of known hacker attacks there. And IPsec normally is connected with a firewall, so definitely it would be the protection for your enterprise grade applications. So there is AWS Direct Connect as well. That is called Express Route in Azure, and that is called AWS Direct Connect. Uh, AWS Direct Connect is a cloud service solution that makes it easy to establish a dedicated network connection from your on-premises to AWS. Using AWS Direct Connect, you establish a private connection between AWS and your data center, office, or co-location environment. This can increase bandwidth throughput and provide a more consistent network experience than internet-based connections. So if you want it's kind of a lease line that you go for, and it says here as well, AWS Direct Connect is compatible with all AWS services accessible over the internet and is available in speeds starting from 50 Mbps, scaling up to 100 Gbps. So what happens is that they suppose you're connected through Bell or Rogers, so they would put their own routers there. That would be inside the data centers of Rogers or Bell, whoever you're connected to, and your connection will be going through only their dedicated fast routers to their nearest data center, AWS's nearest data center. So that's how they then don't let you go to the internet, and you're traveling through their protected network environment. And they have 108 direct connection locations around the world, and more than 50 direct connect delivery partners there. You can establish links between your on-premises network and AWS direct connect locations, no matter where you are located. So that's what it's saying here. So it's a lease line. It's a fast connection to from your branch data center to your to the nearest data center of AWS. So it's a dedicated line, and this is called Express Route in Azure. Okay, so and then AWS VPN extend your on-premises networks to the cloud and securely access them from anywhere. So obviously you can create the AWS VPN. You can configure it to let the VPN client. You need to configure the VPN, AWS VPN with either Cisco VPN. You can collaborate with them, or you can collaborate with any other state-of-the-art VPN providers there, and they will just let you download the client to your machines, to your data center, and from there you can make a connection to the VPN server in AWS. So then there is NAT. We talked about NAT already, that it can provide internet connection to private subnets there, and virtual machines with only private IP addresses. So, so that's for the AWS, VPC overall services there. So we talked about, and we did a lab for the VPC as well. So now you can just collect the screenshots and upload to week 13. So next week we're gonna go for random services and talk about Azure comparison with AWS as well. Um, there are some other services in AWS that would be useful to know, like Route 53 is the DNS, and CloudWatch is for monitoring. And databases in AWS. So all those and some other SNS, simple notification services, SQS, simple queue service, and other smaller services. We're gonna have some kind of intros there, and then obviously 15th week we will have the final quiz. And if you have any issues with the project, you can just let me know in email. And okay, so go ahead and upload, and see you on Thursday. Oh, Jacob says exam next week. No, it's next week is 14th, right? Exam is on 15th. Anyone else taking exam on 14th? Well, maybe, but yeah, 15th. So assignment due next week. Well, assignment, the project is due. I've written that already there, but the week of the final exam, the Friday of the when is the so next week is so 23rd, right? Until this midnight 23rd, you can submit the project. You got enough time. Thank you. All right. Oh yeah, guys, I'm gonna delete everything. Do not delete yourself anything. I'll delete everything. In fact, let me do it now while it's recording. Thank you for reminding me. Hey, you just increased my work now. Serious? And I'm also scared to death that I don't delete anything that was not supposed to be deleted. So normally what happens is, when you delete a VPC, if first of all VPC when you delete, so anything related to your VPC will be deleted only, nothing else. So the idea is to delete the VPC, but before deleting a VPC, you need to delete the virtual machines that are connected to the VPC, right? So so these are all the VMs that are there, and so I'm just gonna try to delete the first. Always delete the virtual machines, then only delete the VPC, right? Uh, so final exam week 15, yes. Okay, so I'm just gonna delete all the. I'll terminate the. So do not delete the VPC without deleting the instances, otherwise you will get an error because of the network cards or the virtual machines are connected to those VPCs, and it won't let you then delete the VPC then. So let me do everything. Don't delete anything, guys. I'm just deleting your machines now. I'll refresh this, so I'll just make sure that they are terminated so I could initiate the deletion of VPCs as well. Okay, all terminated. So I'll go for the VPC one by one now. First I'll go for mine and actions and delete VPC. If and then it says just type the word delete. So whatever was related to my VPC will be deleted only. That's a good thing that it just simply deletes everything connected to VPC. The internet gateway, the route tables, the subnets that were, so then means yoke. I'll delete yours. Okay, guys, so that's it. See you next week. Oh, it's like Thursday.